Hey, so hello everybody. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful South African day. I'm going to showcase some of the differences between SolidWorks Visualize Standard and SolidWorks Visualize Professional. Now, just note, I am only going to show the differences and I'm not going to show the similarity. So if you see the feature in this webinar, just know that it's not part of the standard version. Hey, just want to introduce myself real quick. My name's Vian, and I'm an application engineer. I've been working for CAD for 4 years now, dealing mostly with technical support and the training side of things. I am the local Visualize specialist, so I am very excited to show you what I have today. So the key features I want to discuss are configurations to give your customers some choices, filters to add some drama, lights to concentrate on the finer details, visualize boost and the queue services to maximize your performance and your productivity. And then obviously animations, which is the biggest one, to tell the deepest story of your product. Now, these are the ones that I found most of our clients use who do use Visualize Professional, but there are a few more differences. Um, Namely, virtual reality to fully immerse your customers into your product. We have interactive images to put on your website for the clients to play around with, and panoramic outputs for awesome 3D content. Hey, so let's get started. I want to first talk about configurations. Now, configurations, if you're not familiar with configurations, it's basically just different versions of the same part. For example, take a pipe. You can have a bunch of sizes in the same part or project file, just as different configurations or versions. Okay, so what this means is you can send out multiple themes, colors, features, or even different combinations of parts to your customers to get the feedback of what they want from you. There's no need to first create a costly prototype of each of them, then take the pictures, and then only get your feedback. Take this prosthetic leg, for example, or prosthetic foot in this case, from Biodapt. You can give it some different colors, textures, materials even, and before manufacturing it, you can already get an idea of how it's going to look. Well, most of the time it's not even an idea how it's going to look, it's exactly how it is going to look. You can also throw these options onto a website for your customers to browse. And yeah, the reason why I want to discuss configurations is that configurations are very important because, like I said, they give your customers a choice and it gives you more data to work with from the marketing aspect. There's a lot of businesses that do a sort of survey where they send out a bunch of options to the customers to get the feedback on what they want before you start producing it. Because there is a case where you might get, well, perfect example would be the fashion industry. You'd rather have the customers tell you what type of material or fabric or whatever they want before you start producing it. The customers might not like something about the product, but now you've already spent all of that time and money on the production side of things, and it's just a lose-lose situation. So let's quickly jump into Visualize so I can show you exactly how easy it is to create these configurations. So I have my Biodapt foot here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my cameras to get the cool effect that I want, obviously. And I'm going to add my filters, depth of field, all that fancy stuff as well. And once I got my camera set, I can start adding my configurations. So to do that, I'm just going to go to the top left over here and say add new item or add configuration. This one, I want to create a blue configuration, a red one, and a green one. So adding them is, or changing them is incredibly easy. I can simply go to my blue configuration and change my appearance or material or whatever you want to change. Then I can go to my red configuration. I want to be able to control these colors differently or on their own basically. So all I'm going to do, press Control D to duplicate this appearance of mine. I'm dragging and dropping it. Just want to make sure that dragged and dropped, and copy it over to my parts. Now I can go, I can change my colors, getting the real-time feedback that I need, and change it so that I'm happy with it. Okay, it's that easy. I can do my green configuration as well, duplicate my appearance over here, drag and drop it, add it to the pots, change my color, and I'm good to go. That's literally how easy it is. You take the red configuration, blue configuration, and then my base configuration. Now, you'll see from Visualize 2023 Service Pack 3, there has been a big difference in the output tools. You can see they are calling it a render wizard now. And I have to say, I think I like this one a little bit better, well, actually a lot better than the previous one. It makes it a lot simpler, much easier to go step by step through everything. And it shows you exactly what you want and the important settings. Can I say it? So in this case, I want to do an image. So we're going to do 4K quality. Next, choose my format, which is JPEG, my size, which is automatic, sort of. Well, sort of it is automatic. I can choose my quality. I'm going to do 1,500 passes and enable my denoiser. Now, the next one is pretty cool. I don't have to go and render them out one by one. So I don't have to go render or change the camera or change the configuration, render, go back, change it, all of that stuff. I can just go to my configurations and I can turn on which configurations I want. I don't have to render out all of them. I can choose, well, pick and choose which one I want, which is very, very cool. Now, if you're familiar with Visualize Standard, all you have to do is click Render. It's going to open up that output view of yours, and it's going to show you the entire process of it rendering. Only issue is you have to wait. You can't keep working on your Visualize project while it's rendering. So this is where Visualize Professional comes in with the queue service. Now, the queue service does what it says on the box. It takes your job or the rendering job and it throws it into what we call a queue manager. It's any job or every job, if it's now animations, what have you, is going to be lined up consecutively in this manager. At the end of the day, you are tired, you're leaving your PC on, and you simply hit Start Queue. This will start the rendering process, and by the morning, everything would have rendered out consecutively, and you'd be good to go. And you can just immediately start checking the results, change it if you want to, and then render them out again. So the productivity with this is crazy. All right. So that being the configurations, oh, by the way, this is the results that you're going to get. So with a little bit of changes, like the depth of field, a few colors, but it's pretty cool. All right, next up, filters. So the reason filters are there, the main reason filters are there, is to negate the needs for a post-processing program like GIMP or Photoshop. With the filters, you can adjust vignette, saturation, exposure, and a bunch of other settings that would typically be found in a photo editing software, giving what I like to call drama, which is just basically special effects. So even though the reason for filters is to negate the need for post-processing with something like Photoshop, you can use them in conjunction with each other to get some very cool results. I'm going to show you how it's a little bit of a tip and trick. I'm going to show you how to overlay these images and get the results that you see on screen at this stage. Okay, I just actually need to open it. So we're going to start in Visualize because obviously we need our content before we can edit it. Go to my cameras and set up my view. I would like to have a nice little side view. forgot to change that appearance. And I'm happy with this view at this stage. Okay, so I want to, like I said, overlay them with the filter effects. So I'm just going to hit Control D to duplicate it in its position. I can then go and enable my post-processing. And like I said, here's your vignette, your lighten, darken, saturation, all of that fancy stuff. Okay, for now, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use a special filter called Toon. And it does what it says on the box. It gives a nice little cartoon element to your product, which is I love this filter. It's very cool. This one specifically, I'm gonna create it black and white, and it gives almost like a technical drawing. Well, how can I say, a hand sketch drawing um, of your product. Again, I'm just gonna go to my render wizard, set up everything. But now at the end, I don't have to do the configurations. I can render out multiple cameras at once as well. So I can render this in one single job. I'm gonna do them consecutively, and you're good to go. Yeah, already have this. So we need to go to GIMP, and this is basically what it is. Now, GIMP is a open source software, so you can download it today, and it's free. Yeah, completely free. It's a lot like Photoshop. A little bit of a steep learning curve, but what I'm going to show you today is very, very easy to do. Okay, so my results, I just want to go quickly. Here we go. So I just drag and drop my image into it. I have this side and I have the cartoon one. To create that fade that you saw, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to right click on the layer, add layer mask, and say add. Now, with this, it's going to overlay it, and everything that's white is going to be transparent. So what I can do, so I'm going to use my gradient tool. I'm going to draw a line, and you can see the magic happening. I can now adjust this in any way I want. You can do this to exploded views as well. It looks pretty cool. So you just add it till you're happy with it, and then export it as a PNG or as a JPEG, whatever you want. And that's it. That's literally how easy it is. So then you can take a look again on some of the results I got. Okay, next up, lights. One of the most important things when it comes to product photography. You can imagine um, how difficult it is to control those lights. So in Visualize Pro, you can add your own custom lights. You have much more control of how it's going to look and get effects that is simply not possible when you're dealing with the environment lights in the standard version. Now, if you take a look at these renders, you'll start getting a very cool idea of how it can be used, how these lights can be used to get a very cool effects that aren't possible with the environment lighting, like I said. For you to get the same results from a professional product photographer, so a physical person, you'll need this type of setup. Now, trust me, I'm not taking anything away from product photographers at all. I actually believe it takes a lot more skills and experience to get the perfect lighting, the setup, the Photoshop skills, and everything that comes with that profession. But that sort of just drives my point home. With Visualize Pro, it's orders of magnitude easier and by far the less expensive option. You click a few times and adjust the lights with real-time results, turning all of that equipment that you see into a few clicks. And again, you can see how cool it looks. There. I'm going to move on to animations now. But before I talk about animations, I just want you guys to realize why you need Visualize Boost as well. So it takes a lot of time to render an animation. The reason is it renders everything frame for frame. It's not an entire video that is just rendering one shot. It's frame for frame. So you can imagine if you have a 10-second animation running at 30 frames a second, just 30 frames. Usually the standard, the industry standard is at this stage is basically I think it's 60 frames a second now. Sorry, hit a blank. Anyway, it's 60 frames a second, but I'm going to take 30 frames a second for an example. You're going to have 300 still images that you need to render out. So basically what you can do is you can take the time it takes to render a single image and then times it by 300. So you're going to get a pretty big number. This is where Visualize Boost comes in. In every seat of your Visualize Professional, you get an extra free seat of Visualize Boost. Boost is a way to make your rendering more efficient and boost your performance. And it alternatively, extra, it makes you a little bit more productive, a lot of it more productive when rendering out the big animations or just very high quality pictures. It takes advantage of others' computer CPUs and GPUs to boost your rendering performance. You can send out the jobs just like we queued out the jobs. You can send those over to the other PCs, or what we call the slave PCs, and it uses their GPU and CPU to get everything done for you. It allows what we call allows you to set up what we call a rendering farm. It's pretty easy how it works. All you have to do is you're taking your PC, you're doing all of the actual work, the setup of the lighting and the animation and everything, and you simply queue up the jobs as we did, and then you send it out to those other slave PCs, freeing up your computer's resources. So the best thing about Boost as well is you don't need another Visualize license or something. You don't even need to install Visualize on the Boost PCs, the slave PCs. It's a very tiny program that just runs in the background and utilizes the CPU and GPU to take the brunt of the rendering. So it's a very, very helpful little addition. Animations, the one we've all been waiting for, is my favorite as well. It gets addicting. I promise you, when you first start working on it, you need to be able to tell your customers the broader story about your deeper story about your products. They're not going to know if you have still images. They're not going to know how it's going to move, how it performs, and just ultimately just have like a cool rotation or anything. It's amazing. Now being able to create these awesome animations is the biggest thing that you can use to motivate for Visualize Professional. Now, before I play it, I just want to show you guys a few things that can be automated. Hold on to your hats. Appearance types, appearance scale, appearance colors, appearance rotation, filter effects, depth of field, cut planes, camera position or rotation, environment rotation, floor reflections, backgrounds, shadow effects, environment brightness, light position, light colors, model scale, model transparency, position movement, rotation of models, and model simulations. Okay. And this is not even an extensive list of everything that can be animated, or exhaustive list rather. Needless to say, you have a lot of control over those animations of yours. Now, I'm going to use some of these in combination to get some cool effects, and let's see how it looks. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys learned something and enjoyed it. Cheers, guys.